Welcome! Thank you so much for watching. Today I'll be demonstrating how to create a button timer. Here we've created a simple timer for a game of tic-tac-toe. We can press the button and see that it counts down from 10 seconds after a player completes their turn. They can press the button and then the next player will have 10 seconds to complete their turn. We can place this here, press the button and it resets for the next player's turn. And then they can go on and so forth and so forth. This is a really simple example, but there's a lot more you can do with this by tying it into other game mechanics. Now, let's start by taking a look at objects. We're going to need a text object set to 0. You also need a trigger object, which will be set to trigger on players. The trigger object will run our script. You can see it's all tied in here. Now, for the script, you're going to want to start with when trigger is entered by a player, since we're using a trigger. And then we're going to send an event to ourselves. We'll just stick with the defaults of my event, as that is fine for this. Let's go ahead and grab that. Now let's go ahead and create some variables. We're going to start by creating an object called txt and 2 number variables. The first number variable is for setting the amount to count down from. And the second will be used in our script to be in motion. So we're going to be using that on like a changing basis. So it's not going to have any sort of set value. So we'll just call that countdown in motion. Now that we have our variables, we need to set them. Let's go ahead and start by getting the set to. And we're now going to grab our variable, so the motion, and then we are going to set this to 60 by default. So it'll default to 60, but we can always go edit that in our trigger. So before we drag that in, we actually need to start by adding 1 to it. You'll see why this is important in just a second. So I'll go add this here. And now we're going to go ahead and grab a +1. So go over here and grab the number and type in 1. Now this is going to be important as it's going to allow us to display the correct number, because the next thing we're going to do is send our event. So now that we've received our event, we need to set this again, but we're going to subtract 1 because this is going to be a looping event. So we're going to grab that countdown in motion, grab the minus, and do countdown in motion -1. So note that we're not using the original countdown number, we're using countdown in motion, so the value we just set, and then subtracting 1. So grab that number and set it to 1. All right, next thing we're going to want to do is go ahead and send the event. So we're going to make it loop. So we're going to send my event with 1 second delay, but we want this to happen only if there is more time left on the clock. So once it hits 0, we want it to stop. Now to do that, we're going to go ahead and grab a greater than symbol. So let's go to our math and grab that. Perfect. And so now we're going to go check the countdown in motion and make sure that it is greater than 0. And if it is not greater than 0, we are going to stop running this event, so the loop will stop. So that's how that works. Very easy. And now we're going to go ahead and display text. So let's go ahead and grab that. And we're going to make sure to display the countdown in motion variable. And we're going to display that on the object text. And that's our script. All right, let's go ahead and tie that into the trigger and make sure it works. Okay, so if we open this up here, we can select our new countdown. And we're going to need to open up our text object and then drag this over to tie it into text. Now that we've tied that in, I'm going to go ahead and set this to 5 since we don't need this to run for 60 seconds. In this case, we're just going to do it real short for the test. We click the button and it goes countdown 5, 4, 3, so we can see it's working. And we'll let it hit 0. Perfect, so we can see that. And now if we hit it again, we can see that it counts down, and we hit it in the middle, it'll go right back up. So it works great. There's a lot you can do with this. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm really happy to help. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a great day. Bye.